This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Red Side. Trent here to bring you a bit of a season preview with a few other people, get some different opinions ahead of the new season. Joining me are Danny Wetton and Alex Oakes. Danny, how are you first of all?
Really good, thanks, mate. Very much looking forward to the start of the season after such a zero goal fest of pre-season. But I'm really looking forward to it now. I can't wait. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to the season, sort of, although I've been a little bit down in the dumps with it, to be honest, in a sense, which is easy enough to get to, I think. But we'll discuss that in due time. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Really enjoyed pre-season and all the clean sheets that we've kept. And yes, mate, good. Playing lots of golf, but a bit too warm.
Warm for me. Might be a scorcher next Sunday as we open the season up with Brentford at home. Danny, how have you enjoyed pre-season? Are has the shine been taken off with this whole kind of Europe saga as well?
It's just boring me now, mate, to be honest with you. It hasn't taken the shine off anything for me. I'm just bored and sick to death of hearing about it. I think as two sets of fan bases, both of us just want it sorted now, regardless of where we're going to be. We're both going to be in Europe. We just need to get on with it and get the season underway. With regards to pre-season, I'd say I'm not a doom and gloom merchant, as some people have been. I understand where they're coming from as well, but I think obviously I'd want us to score more goals. Of course I would. But I think it's been very clear from the moment we stepped foot into, say, when we went to Spain, I think it's very clear that we've been trying to do something very different to what we've been doing usually, playing more of like a 4-4-2 where the second striker drops in with Diego Jesus. And I just think it's a bit of time will tell on it sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm not too downbeat about it at all. Obviously, like I said, I wanted to score more goals, but it is what it is. And I'm very much looking forward to this start of the season now. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Alex, how much of a distraction has it been not having maybe the full set of players available? I mean, Nico Williams and Alorino have been injured at different times. Nico Dominguez has not had a pre-season at all. Elliot Anderson came late because of England duties. Obviously, we had the Gibbs White thing. Elanga's left and Doyes took ages to join. It's been a bit disjointed in some respects, hasn't it? And I think that's affected us a little bit as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, kind of. It's certainly been a little bit more unorthodox than some of the pre-seasons. We'd like to have more players in, I think, by this point. I think I echo, fans and the club, fans and the club's thoughts on that. And yeah, the whole thing that threw me off, I think that threw a lot of it off was the Gibbs White saga. Was he staying? Was he going? Because he was such a integral part to our squad. Losing Elanga again, we've had a little bit more time to sort of prepare and replace him, as we have with Ndoye, who I think's looked very good in the time that he has played. I think he can only get better. And Anderson, again, it's like he's never been away, is it? He's come back. He's firing on all cylinders. Arguably our best player in pre-season. Actually, I don't even think it's an argument. I think him and the central defenders, I think they've been really good, as proven with the clean sheets. But I echo what Danny said. I think more goals would have been nice, but it's not the end of the world as long as it clicks when it needs to on Sunday and going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to have a bit of a tactics chat with you both. I know, Alex, you like to put out teams on Twitter and get people's opinions. And Danny, we've all had this conversation in our WhatsApp group about, are we going to go this 4-4-2, or do you think it will revert back to 4-2-3-1 or another option? What's your thoughts on it all? Because we have seen this 4-4-2 quite a lot recently as well.
I think that going into this first game, it can go one or two ways for me. We can start exactly how we ended last season and continue to try and play how we did, with the thought process of more players hopefully coming in as soon as possible to try and boost that 4-4-2 system that we are now trying to play. Or we could just run with it from the start, because they have played throughout the entirety of pre-season. Igor Jesus has looked really, really good for me when been playing. You can see that he likes to drop a lot deeper, sometimes deeper than the central midfielders, sometimes to pick the ball up, which is something we haven't seen at all in the Premier League era from Forest. So yeah, I think we could very much roll with the 4-4-2 and the secondary striker dropping in.
Do you then think that means Morgan Gibbs-White's going to potentially play a slightly deeper role than he has been doing most of his Forest career?
Yeah, and I think this also jogs on to another thing that I would have talked about further on in the podcast potentially, with this Douglas Luiz saga that seems to be dragging on as well. I very much think that if we sign another central midfielder, maybe someone that isn't like Douglas Luiz, like a Musa or something that's a little bit cheaper, I think you can see Gibbs-White dropping in deeper. And then if we sign like a Makatise, for instance, with it is another number 10, you could see Gibbs-White playing a lot deeper. Like Anderson, we've all said can play the 6, can play the 8, can play the 10. So he could be the deep line playmaker. Morgan Gibbs-White could play the 8 and come forward. I think it opens up a whole different way of playing for us for sure. And I do think Morgan could play a lot deeper this season from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I think he gets on the ball a lot more and it makes things happen. And you need your best players to get on the ball a lot more. We saw it from Elliot Anderson how good he was when he got on the ball, much more than not. Alex, what's your opinion on it? I know you've really backed the 4-2-3-1 still when you've been putting teams out on Twitter. So, have you got a different opinion of that? Do you see Igor Jesus playing as like that false 9 with Wood, or do you see him playing on his own, or do you see him more as a backup to Wood?
Genuinely, I knew you were going to ask this, but I've given it some thought. I don't know. I really don't know how we're going to shape up, because he was playing the 10 in a 4-2-3-1, but was that just purely because of Gibbs-White's absence, which I think it probably was. I don't think he's going to find a suitable home in that position sort of long term. I don't know. I don't think playing in a 2 up front suits Chris Wood either, if that kind of makes sense. Because I know Wood, the best thing about Wood's abilities are his creation to find space within very, very limited space. We saw last season where he'd make one step either forwards or backwards and it would result in a goal just purely because he's able to find, that 1 foot of space. If he's then got another striker on top of him vying for that space, is Wood going to be as effective? I don't know. But I don't think that we're going to vary too far away long term from a 4-2-3-1. We'll probably end up playing, a 4-4-2 or the 3. Was it 3-5-2 we've played? We'll play it in certain situations against certain players, certain teams. Sorry, but no, I don't think Jesus is going to be playing in that position sort of long term, and I don't think we're going to vary away from that 4-2-3-1 that much.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see first game of the season, Danny. I mean, Alex, you can come in on this as well after Danny's spoken. But I think once Gibbs-White comes back, and I feel like maybe Nuno's been trying out different players to find a plan B or a plan A to go to, because I personally think we'll still stick with the 4-2-3-1 and play on the counter until we get certain bodies in. I think if you're getting Douglas Luiz, if you're getting Bakwa in, if you're getting 2 new fullbacks as well, and we can vary from what we've been used to, because we do need to evolve, because playing on the counter-attack isn't sustainable long-term, unfortunately, in the Premier League. So for me, I think he's just been trying to find something different. But against Brentford today, I can see Keith Andrews quite happily saying what we did towards the end of last season was sitting against Forest and play on the counter-attack, let them try and break us down. And maybe that's why Nuno's been trying to play something like this to prepare for that game personally. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I think you've hit the nail on the head when it comes down to, like, I'm listening to Alex try and talk about that just then, and it's so confusing because of what we've been watching during pre-season. It is very dependent on the personnel you've got available to you to look beyond certain formations anyway, because we are limited, so limited. It's unbelievable at the moment. A starting 11 can play in the systems that he's tried pre-season, in our existing system that we played more or less all of last season with, which I agree with Adam, probably will end up going with. But it is all player dependent. And it does look a lot like Nuno's been trying to thrust that message home through pre-season by the starting team and then bringing all these players on with 30 minutes to go and having zero creativity whatsoever. I mean, Morgan obviously didn't start the other night for whatever reasons. Last night, actually, wasn't it? Was it last night?
Last night as we record this, yeah.
Last night as we record this, yeah. And you could just tell instantly. I mean, Anderson was brilliant again, but you could just tell instantly there was no creative spark in that pocket of space that can create something out of nothing, flick a ball around the corner, draw defenders in so it takes them away from the strikers or the wingers. There was none of that. So we are crying out for more creativity. And it is hard to distinguish how we are actually going to play come that first game of the season without more players in our system, in our ranks. So yeah, I think we're going to stick with 4-2-3-1 personally starting, but yeah, it's hard to predict at the moment.
Anything to add to that, Alex?
No, I think that Danny's echoed my thoughts perfectly. Unless we do get, I do think we are going to end up with 2 or 3 players in this week, whether it be Bakwa, Musa. I've seen Simicas has come as a sort of a vague link today. I've been calling that one for sort of 18 months ish, with his Olympiacos links and whatnot. It's whether he would come to sit on the bench. But yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, I think we've definitely got the personnel available for 2 certain formations, which is the 4-2-3-1 and the 3-5-2. It's just whether we can sort of mould Jesus into that proper sort of deeper lying forward that's going to complement Wood in a 4-4-2. But yeah, I think Gibbs White in that deeper role, like you and Danny said earlier, I think it suits him more than it does in a 10. But then you do lose a certain degree of having that ability slightly further up the pitch, more connected to the wings and the striker. I think that's a loss in that area of the pitch that only sort of one man can rectify.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think it's going to be difficult. I think Nuno will strike a balance, because if he doesn't, I think we might be in a little bit of trouble, because like I said at the start of all this conversation, we got found out a lot towards the end of last season. People were just backing off us and just going, well, you try and break us down, Forest, because we know what your strength is, and that is on the counter with lots of space, and we haven't replaced that pace like for like, I'd say. So I wouldn't say Doy's a slouch, obviously, but Alanga is ridiculous. So we'll see as we go forward. And hopefully, I know as we record this, the result of the CAS hearing hasn't happened, but whatever that outcome, hopefully a positive one for Forest's sake, that might start the ball rolling with more signings. Hopefully, we'll see. But let's get into some predictions, guys. We're going to start off with the bottom 3. Let me just change the screen. Here we go. So, Danny, I'm going to start with yourself. We're going bottom 3. And you've gone Brentford, Leeds, and Burnley. Yeah, that's from a photo that I got off your Facebook. You was in a nice photo with your missus at a wedding. Alex is better though. That was a picture from him with him and Murillo in McDonald's, I think, in the services. So Brentford, Leeds, Burnley. So you think Sunderland, out of the newly promoted sides, are going to stay up despite half their team having to go to AFCON during January? Thoughts and feelings.
Thoughts and feelings. I think Brentford are the ones that are going to. I don't know what order this is going to be in, by the way. It's not an exact order, but I just feel like out of the 3 promoted teams, Sunderland have really made inroads in the transfer market. They've made some really crude signings. They look like they're coming back to stay up, like what we tried to do. Do you know what I mean? Albeit, obviously, we still hold the record for the amount of signs that come through the door. But yeah, I think out of the 3 promoted, they stand the best chance of staying up. And for me, because of the golfing class between, no matter how well you do in the Championship, the golfing class between the Championship and then getting up into the Premier League is so big. There's only one team that's going to fill the void that Sunderland's going to vacate, and that will be Brentford for me, because they've literally been picked apart. Obviously, we've got first game of the season. Wissa probably won't even play in that or be in the squad because he's really pushing to leave them. He's not even training at the moment, I don't think. So, yeah, for me at the moment, Brentford, with a rookie manager in Keith Andrews, I mean, they could surprise everybody, but right now I'd say they would be the 3rd favourites out of all of them to go down. There's not really much I can say about Leeds and Burnley, because I just don't think, as much as they've recruited themselves in this window, I just don't think that they're going to have the facilities to compete enough to get that 17th spot, 18th spot to survive. 17th to survive. I just don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah. Right. Well, Alex has got slightly different in one team to you. He's gone with Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley. I mean, this is going to be it could be a really good relegation battle, to be honest. Alex, what's your thoughts on these lot?
My thoughts are, you've done me dirty with the photo. Jesus Christ!
Well, I couldn't. You don't have many photos of yourself.
I could have gone to a photo booth and done your thumbnail in my face, mate.
No,
I've done a passport photo for you.
I've done everyone dirty on this. Don't you worry.
I've lost a stone and a half since that photo was taken. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, sort of. I think Brentford will just about scrape off.
Just because you've got a Brentford mate and he gave you some jit last season. Is that what it is?
No. Yeah, he gives me jip after every game. Like, don't worry about that. No, I think Brentford will be down there, but I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to have enough that they're not going to be in immediate trouble. I think one club that could fall a bit further than people think is definitely Bournemouth. I think they're going to be down there this season just purely because they've lost one of the better centre-back partnerships in the league. Ouattara looks like he's going, so you're losing that threat on the right. I think they could be down there. I understand Brentford have lost and Mbeumo. I mean, Wissa's now on strike. This is something I want to bring up.
As well, hasn't he?
Yeah, Norgard's gone. This was something I wanted to bring up on the last point, but completely forgot about. They've got so many injuries in pre-season that it's an absolute joke. Sharda's injured, Kelleher's injured, Janelt's injured. They've got 5 first-team players out. However, that being said, I do think that Brentford's recruitment is just about good enough to keep them in the league by probably 10 points at this stage. Wolves having lost Cunha, and there was another big name that left. I can't remember.
Nori, Semedo.
Nori's gone. Yeah. Loser. I mean, we know as well as anybody, not having sufficient depth at fullback can kill you in the Premier League. It's just a standard of wingers that you come up against. I think Wolves. I think they make a much better fight of it than the other two, but I don't see Leeds staying up just purely because they've kept Daniel Farke. I don't think he's good enough to lead a team to safety, no matter who they sign. Because on paper they've signed some genuinely good players. So have Burnley, but again, Scott Parker, it is in sort of my realms of Russell Martin and Daniel Farke that will breeze the Championship, but just aren't good enough for the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think Wolves fall foul of that this season.
Well, Leeds were considering sacking Daniel Farke after he won them the league, which I find absolutely mental in one hand. But like, if they don't think he's good enough, then they don't think he's good enough. And we know what Scott Parker's like. As soon as it starts going against him, he throws his toys out the pram. Look at when he lost with 8-0 with Bournemouth. to Liverpool, and it was like, right, these aren't good enough. I can't do anything. I can't do any more. And it's like, all right, okay, cheers, Scott, and off he went. So no, it's a really good one. I think West Ham have got the potential to get down there. I think.
Can you say West Ham? Yeah.
I think that game against Brentford, like you say, then Alex, if they've got so many injuries, that if we don't beat them on opening day, I mean, that could be a lot of worry amongst our fan base. You know what we're like as a reactive fan base. It'll be World War III. So now you've said that, is a lot of pressure on that first game of the season. So, but we'll move swiftly on. We're going to do top 5 now, and starting back with you, Danny. You've gone for this. It's Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Villa. Obviously, Liverpool is a given at this moment in time because of.
I don't know. Have you just watched the Charity Shield?
Absolutely not. No.
Oh my God, it was a good game of football, but yeah, I was a bit surprised, to be fair. Maybe some of their new players will take a bit of bedding in. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think it kind of speaks for itself a little bit. The only one I toyed with, to be honest, was Villa and Newcastle. Really, I've not gone for Newcastle purely because they've had possibly one of the worst transfer windows ever. Like for where they want to be, for the competitions that they're in, for the pool that they thought they were going to have, it's just been dreadful. And obviously Isak's the biggest thing, isn't it? Right? Willie or won't stay at Newcastle. He probably will. I think he'll still end up going, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't see how there's any way back for him. But based on that, that's why Villa got in for me, because I just think they're quite a consistent club, and they have been over the last 2 or 3 seasons. The quality's there. I just think the other 4 have got. I mean, Chelsea's performance in the Club World Cup was brilliant. They were really, really good this summer. Man City always find a way. Arsenal are already at that level anyway, and they've just added Gyökeres to that as well, which they've been crying out for an out-and-out striker for God knows how long. We've all said it. How they haven't signed one in the last 5 years is beyond me. They'd have probably won the league by now if they'd have done it. But yeah, I do agree with you. Liverpool is a bit of a given for me at this point. But I think Arsenal will, now the signed striker, a good striker, will be snapping at the heels a bit more than what they did last season.
I've got a great question for both of you in a minute. So,
well, that's my general, basic, overall reasons as to why I've gone for them 4. To be honest with you,
yeah.
So,
well, Alex has got all the same clubs, but in a slightly different order. Man City to win the league, Alex. I mean, Pep. I'll just tell you this: Pep Guardiola has already said that he's exhausted, and the season hasn't even kicked off. But I suppose that was because of the Club World Cup and all sorts. So what's your reasoning behind backing Man City to retain the league? Well, not retain the league, come back and win the league, should I say?
It's not necessarily Man City overawing everyone else. I think Liverpool will have a slight drop-off just due to what Danny said earlier, betting in those new signings. I've watched them a couple of times in pre-season. They don't look defensively brilliant. There's still questions over Konate's future. Frimpong and Kerkez, genuinely, I think you could put them on the left and right wing and they wouldn't look out of place. Frimpong, especially today, looked defensively suspect, to say the least. And Sarr was having a field day on that sort of right position next to Kerkez. I think they'll drop off. So I think it's really going to be close. However, I do think Chelsea are going to be in with a very, very close shout. I don't think Chelsea are going to be as far off as people think. I think they'll be within sort of 6 or 7 points come the end of the season, and I think they'll strengthen next year and possibly be even closer, if not win it.
Yeah. What year don't they strengthen? What winter window don't they strengthen?
There is that.
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what Esteval was like, because obviously he's been touted as the next wonder kid, hasn't he? Next to Vinicius or Rodrigo or whoever else. I mean, I
will say this: the points difference between winning the league and 4th will not be as significant as what it was last season. No chance.
Yeah. Something I was going to ask you both, because you mentioned about Arsenal, Danny, getting a striker in. Do you know if Arsenal don't win the league this season, now they've got a striker, do you think Arteta? Do you think his future will be in doubt?
Potentially, but I think the other argument you've got is because they've waited too long to do it, all these other teams have strengthened around the time where they've had to win that league, where the other teams haven't been as strong as what they could have been. They've failed to bring any targets in that centre forward role over the last 4 to 5 years. And just because they've done it this season, I don't think they can expect to win the league, because Liverpool are better than them technically from last season. Chelsea are right on the heels, if not the same, and Man City are Man City. So they've lost their window, in my opinion, to go and win the league for a couple of years. I don't think they will do it. I don't think they'll do it now, even having signed that good striker. I think they'll be snapping at the heels again. I don't think they win the league. I think they missed the window big time to do it.
I'm hoping this Max Dowman plays a little bit this season. Have you seen him in
Preseason?
Oh my God.
Yes.
He's like 6 foot at 15 and he's like just whizzing past people. It's absolutely outrageous. Mm-hmm. I think this is such an interesting title race because like Alex mentioned about Liverpool, the defence looks a bit shaky. I think if they get one injury there, they're a bit buggered really in terms of depth. Man City have got no Kevin De Bruyne for the first time in a long time, and Rodri's coming back, and then it's new signings, and it can Pep motivate them again because they looked a bit half cooked last season. Chelsea are the ones who are on the up, and then obviously Arsenal got that pressure now. They've signed a striker. Can Arteta deliver? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it in that sense. And then fifth is up for anyone. Like, let's face it, it's up for a cluster of teams. Let's be honest. So it's going to be exciting one way or another. But where will Forest finish? Danny Wetton, you have put 9th place.
I have, yeah.
What's your reasoning for this?
My reasoning is I still see us, even though obviously the window's not shut yet. Obviously, we haven't strengthened as well as what we'd want to up to this point. I still see 5 or 6, 7 potentially signings coming in all the way up to the end of the window. I reckon with the fixtures that we've got coming up at the beginning, we could hopefully bank some good points on the board between now and then. So when signings do come in, they haven't got to come into the worst possible fixture list as well. So they have a bit of time to get up to speed. So when we get into the middle part of the season, they will hopefully be embedded in the squad. And yeah, I just don't see, I don't see it being as massive a drop-off as what everybody thinks it'll be. I think obviously we will struggle to a degree, and there's no way I think we'll keep up a third place for half the season like we did last season. So yeah, I think 9th is a good position. 9th, 10th, anywhere around there. 9th, 10th, top 10. Top 10 for me is absolutely fine.
Is this with a good cup run in terms of domestic and European as well, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fires to fight on a lot of different fronts, isn't there? But I think Nuno's a very good manager, and I think he will know how to use his squad properly coming into this season. I know there's always been doubts about him using more than this nucleus of players that he trusts and whatnot, but he's got to sort of get over that. But I think he's an adaptable manager. I think he's a very, very good manager. He won't be stupid enough to realise that we'll be playing in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, hopefully the Europa League and the Premier League. He's going to have to use his squad. Hence why we are still obviously trying to bring more players in. Because right now we have actually got a little bit of an imbalance in the squad with certain amount of defenders as compared to like the midfield and the attacking department. That'll all change come the end of the window. I know obviously it's not ideal right now, but I think our squad will be a lot stronger come the end of the window, 100%. So I don't see why we can't maintain a reasonable position in the league. I think we could sustain it and stay in the top 10 and have a good cup run in whichever competition it may be. But I really do hope we go for the Europa League or the Conference League, whichever one we're in. I hope we do go for it at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Alex, you've got a bit of a different opinion. You've gone 13th, which is somewhere we probably would have been happy with last season, to be honest. What's your thinking behind this?
Mate, I wouldn't take what I'm saying about this for love nor money. I've said anything from 7th to 15th in the close season. I don't know. I've sort of settled somewhere in the middle ground. I genuinely don't know. I think we're going to have a drop-off. But I think for some reason, I've just got an inkling that we're going to prioritise whatever European competition that we're in. And that's almost, as long as we're not going to go down, that's almost what I want to see us do. If that makes any sense to either of you two. I don't know if you agree, because it's the first time I've seen Forest in a European competition, why not just go balls out and win it? I mean, go balls out and win whatever competition we're in. Conference, great. Europa, even better. We're guaranteed for Europe season after if we do win it. On to Danny's point of a bit of a squad imbalance between defenders and attackers. We've just submitted a bid
Is that what
for.
you're laughing? Is that what you were laughing at when I was talking?
Yeah, literally, I actually said it. It just popped up. We've had a bid submitted for Sungutu Magasa from Monaco. He's a centre back. So again, this could tie back to the conversation we were having earlier about the formation we're playing. But yeah, I genuinely don't know where we're going to finish this season. Preseason tells me we could finish in the bottom three. I don't know. But no, I think just again staying in the division and giving it half a chance, but really going sort of balls out in Europe is absolutely fine for me.
The recruitment team all right? We don't need a bloody another centre half. We need wingers and forwards.
Are you sure
He's apparently played defensive midfield, but is a centre back. So,
oh my goodness! Right,
I don't know.
It could be anything. Right, we'll carry on anyway as we go in. But we're going to go on to. I mean, I've named this wrong, and I'm so sorry. No, I haven't. We're going on to top scorer. Both of you have actually agreed on this one. It's Chris Wood. Happy days. Thoughts on Chris Wood, Danny?
Is the only out-and-out recognised centre forward that we've got, because Igor Jesus is not that type of striker. Taiwo One has just come back from bad injury where he looks quite fit pre-season, but he ain't going to start. Wood's going to start, regardless of whether we play 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. Wood will start the season, and he will be that main striker. If we can pick up where we were last season for the majority, and Dan Doy can get off to a flyer and get crosses in the box, and Callum Hudson-Odoi can start on fire. There's no reason why Chris Wood can't pick up where he left off. Yeah, he may be a little bit older. He's a professional footballer. He's going to be fit. Like, if he's not this same player, why is he still at Forest? This is a myth, right? It doesn't go from just being 20 goal season striker, oh, I'm 7 months older, now I'm absolutely past it. Don't work like that, does it, right? So as long as he gets the good service and Morgan's firing on all cylinders and the wingers are providing crosses, there's no reason why he can't get another 15 to 20 goals a season, in my opinion. And yeah, he's got a good backup now, so he can be rested probably in the cups, so he hasn't got to play all these games, plays in the major tournaments we're in, like the Premier League, Europa League, whatever it's going to be. Cup competitions gets rested completely, so he gets rotated in the right way. And if we keep him fresh, I don't see why he can't score another 15, 20 goals, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he's 11 off the 100 club, which would be unbelievable for us to have a player in that club for representing Forest.
He'll do that. He'll do that this season.
He should do. Yeah, because he doesn't rely on pace or anything. Like Alex mentioned, he's unbelievably good at like that one step forward, one step back, and finding that yard of space.
The one and only goal we
space
scored
with Gemma Collins in the room. I'm telling you that now.
The one and only goal we scored pre-season was a great header by Chris Wood. Brilliant header.
Alex, what's your thoughts on the ever fine wine of Chris Wood?
Can't say, isn't it? He's a fine wine. I think the 20-goal season last year was, let's be honest, it's an anomaly season. He's never scored 20 before. I don't think he'll replicate it this year. But again, if he can get 12 to 16 goals, beautiful. He's done his job. He's done exactly what he needs to do. But he'll be aiming for 20 again. I think that's the type of guy he is. He's by all accounts, he seems a great bloke to have around the club. He's such a top professional. He's done it in the Premier League for a number of years. And as Danny said, you don't become a 20-goal season striker to not being able to hit a barn door overnight and just scoring 2 or 3 a season. It doesn't work like that. Football doesn't work like that. Chris Wood doesn't work like that. But yeah, no, I think, again, anywhere between sort of 12 and 16 gets him the Forest Golden Boot.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think there's still as much pressure on him to score that many goals anyway, because I think because it was such a surprise that he did, I think this season everyone's still thinking, well, if he gets like you say, Alex, between 12 and 16, that's still a really good season. It's still an unbelievable season. We just need other people to chip in as well and help him out, and hopefully, like the likes like we've spoke about, the double Doy, Gibbs White, Anderson, or hopefully all can chip in, and obviously more recruitments in that department. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm really intrigued to hear both your opinions. So, player of the season, and Danny, you've gone for Ibrahim Sangare.
Yes.
Talk us through your thinking on this one.
I just think like obviously the last couple of games hasn't started obviously in the pre-season, but every game before that he played, started, looked very, very good. The end of last season looked very, very good. A lot of people are just quick just to shut him down. I think if you give him a good run of games, like I think there's such a good player in there. I've not seen anything to say that he can't be star man. I really do think it could be his breakthrough season. We finally see what we want to see from him. Could be completely wrong. Could have gone on a win, but I've got a good feeling about Sangare this season. I really have. I just think he's a good player. When I've watched him play, apart from the time where he was like suffering with a lot of injuries and come back with malaria and then couldn't play at all. Like every time I've seen him play, he's not really put a foot wrong. Beginning of last season, he was playing really well until he got injured. So give him a chance. I reckon he'll be a very, very good player for us this season.
I think this could be a make or break for him personally.
Yeah,
so
totally.
We'll see. I mean, Alex, you've stuck with Nikola Milenkovic retaining his Player of the Year performance. What's your why do you think this will be the same?
Mr. 8 out of 10, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Leader, Mr. I will head a Boeing 747 out the box if it threatens it. I don't think you. Of course, people are going to have other opinions. I mean, Sangare isn't even the most outrageous shout. Like, let's be honest, it's not a bad shout at all. If he shows up, but no, Milenkovic, I could tell you on one hand the amount of bad performances he had last year. I think money can't sort of buy that consistency, and I think he'll go again this year. I think him and Murillo are one of the top 3, top 4 centre back partnerships in the division. And yeah, I mean, again, if he's another one, if he can chip in with sort of 4, 5, 6 goals again this season from set pieces, the man's worth his weight in gold. As we said about Wood, seems great behind the scenes. Doesn't seem like the loudest bloke in the room. He's never going to be sort of the Ola Reina of personalities, but he just quietly goes about his work, and the work he does on the pitch is damn bloody good. So yeah, I think he's Player of the Season for me again.
I mean, there was an article written not too long ago, like maybe a couple of days ago, that come out, and it said that Nikola Milenkovic was behind the small group of players that were trying to convince Morgan Gibbs-White to stay, and it was something that actually helped Morgan stay in the end as well. So it does go to show that he cares about the football club as well. For me personally,
you wouldn't want an argument with him though, would you? Let's be honest.
I know, but
if he turns around and grabs you by the scruff of the neck, not for me.
It looked like Ola was testing him by embarrassing him by saying he sat him down in Serie A when they were played against each other. So I mean that's a dangerous one. I mean, funny enough that you two have gone for that, because the rest of us guys went all for Elliot Anderson. I mean,
I tried to go a bit against the grain, if I'm totally honest with you, because everybody's picking Anderson, everybody's picking Milenkovic, and there will be the players of the season. I believe that. I just thought if he gets a run in the team and he stands every chance of being a good player, that I knew everyone would go for Anderson. I knew everyone would go for Milenkovic, because normally I would too, but I wanted to go a bit against the grain, if I'm totally honest with
you. Yeah.
He was the name I sent to you on the text. Anderson was there first, and I deleted it because, again, same as Danny, I didn't want to go there. I just knew for a fact at least 3 of you have put Anderson down. I think
sheep,
Anderson's
Alex.
going to be.
Because they're sheep. They're all sheep. They follow the same.
That's what we're guests. That's what we're here for.
If I didn't pick Elliot Anderson, I mean, what's the point of me having a display picture of him on Twitter? Like I'm the Elliot Anderson fan club #1 member.
He's unbelievable.
That's only because Danilo's left.
Unbelievable.
Well, and Dominguez keeps changing his hairstyle. I'm not sure if I quite like it. I like the curtains. So yeah, let's get a red hot take from each of you, starting with the Premier League one. Danny, let's go with your Premier League red hot take.
Sunderland will survive comprehensively and finish 14th.
Finish 14th? Blimey. Up the Mackhams, eh?
Up the Black Cats.
Up the Black Cats. I think it would be good for the Premier League for one of them
Right.
teams to stay up, and I think Sunderland are the most favourable because although Newcastle fans hate them, everyone hates Leeds, and Burnley are Burnley.
Yeah, and Granit Xhaka to get sent off at least 7 times.
I actually don't think. I think he's a great signing for them.
He is a great signing.
He's going to be unbelievable for them. I'd have had him at Forest.
2 years ago, he's comprehensively winning Bundesliga.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wild.
And nearly won it unbeaten, and nearly won Europa League and all. But yeah, Alex, your red hot take for the Premier League?
Oh God, this is going to contradict what I said earlier.
Oh,
yeah, pretty much. Chelsea to win the Premier League.
Chelsea to win the Premier League.
That literally just contradicts you. I can't believe that. That's hilarious.
No,
I love it. But
last...
literally, like the first part of this podcast with Alex, just delete it.
Yeah, I've been stewing on this, and like, I can't remember when I sent you my list of predictions and whatnot. But you said I had to have a red hot take, and I think the European clubs will pretty much stay the same. So I don't think anyone relatively new breaks into there. Maybe you look at Crystal Palace finishing sort of in those spots rather than winning something to get in there. But yeah, from what I've seen of Chelsea in pre-season and the Club World Cup, I think they're going to be very strong contenders. Like I said earlier, I think they'd be 5-6 points off. Why not win it?
Fair. Christian said that Everton will make a push for Europe, which I think is doable with their new ground and Moyes and everything. But it's just, I'm not sure what their recruitment's been like, to be honest. Reece put Man United 5th in his predictions. So that was kind of
beyond the realms of possibility.
That was kind of a red hot take, and I can't remember what he said for his, because he said another one because he's obviously said that. So it was interesting. And I said a team from outside the top 6 will win a domestic trophy. Possibly the FA Cup, which is also doable as we saw last season. Yeah,
Us.
that'd be lovely if we get back in Europe. Danny, what's your Forest red hot take for the season?
Nico and Ole Einar both to get 5+ assists.
Okay, doable, very doable. I think that would represent massive progression for Nico Williams as well, because I think he was excellent last season. He could have won Player of the Year, and no one would have batted an eyelid, personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alex, your red hot take for Forest?
Morgan Gibbs-White to get double figures in both goals and assists.
Oh,
Blimey.
That would be amazing. I'd love that.
10+ in both.
He's kind of got to, really.
If he wants that World Cup squad, he's got to be putting up numbers. I mean, I'm hoping I'm manifesting it for him. I'm not going to lie. We've all had the conversation about Gibbs-White needing to sort of up his goal contributions. Sort of same with Anderson. But I think Gibbs-White doing it is imperative for him to get in that England squad. So yeah. Double figures in goal and assists.
He's got a hell of a point to prove this season, hasn't he? He absolutely has. You're right. He's got to perform. Otherwise, it's hard enough for him at the moment to get the England squad, which is probably part of the reason he wanted to leave anyway. But yeah, if he wants any chance of getting in that squad, he's got to perform to the best of his abilities. So yeah, don't see why not. It's not a bad shout.
For both of you, this is just off the cuff, who do you think's got more of a chance of getting in that World Cup squad, Elliot Anderson or Morgan Gibbs-White?
Gibbs-White.
Anderson.
Oh,
if you're asking me who I think should be in that squad, Elliot Anderson. If you're asking me who I think will be in there, I think it's Gibbs-White.
What's your reason in thinking that Anderson should be in it?
Because England aren't as blessed in that department as what they are with the Gibbs-White scenario.
Yeah,
literally that. But having said that, there's still the players that are in that position are fantastic players. So, but there's not many of them. So if Anderson has a stellar season and Forest finish, say, anywhere between, say, for instance, they have a barnstorming season again, they finish anywhere between 5th and 9th, and they win a trophy or anything like that, then he's a serious candidate. He will be a massive reason as to why they do it. So both of them will be. So they could both be on the plane.
It'd
But
be
I think
amazing.
Anderson, and yeah, it would be amazing. But I still think that personally, Anderson, even though he's not been in the squads yet, stands a better chance of being in them come May.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't know if any of you go on.
That's why I think that Gibbs White has more of a chance, because he's already been in there. We saw what Gibbs White had to do to step up from the 21s to the England squad, and how Tuchel sort of favoured club bias in that sort of respect. I think because Gibbs White's already in and around that conversation of players that should already be picked for the World Cup squad. Like I say, like Danny said, I hope both of them are there. That'd be brilliant. And I think Anderson should be there. I think the three sort of options that should be nailed in for that position, or those two positions, should we say, are Rice, Wharton, Anderson.
Yeah,
For those two behind the three.
I mean, if Nuno adapts to a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 or whatever, and Gibbs White plays more deeper, then he throws his name in that hat, really, because he's just as combative as Anderson can be. He likes to tackle, he likes to do all the stuff that we saw Elliott do so well last season, except Gibbs White just does it a little bit further up the pitch. So there's no reason why both of them can't fight it out almost. It'd be great for us because it means we've got two solid centre midfielders, but I can't see Nuno playing a two. Well, I can see him playing a two, but maybe not them two together as often as maybe we'd like or want, because I just think one of them is too good to play, not playing the 10 as such, to be honest. So no, it's a fascinating one, and I'm intrigued to see how they both do. Anderson was unbelievable in the 21s. I know Harvey Elliott won player of the tournament, but he got nowhere near Anderson's influence for me in terms of everything else. Elliott just scored loads of goals, which is fair enough in getting
bit like when Gibbs White was there, though, wasn't it? He should possibly have won player of the tournament in that under 21s tournament, but didn't.
Yeah, Anthony Gordon did. So yeah, no, interesting. Anything to finish us off with, Danny? Anything that you would like to?
Red Hot international take. Gibbs White doesn't play for England; he plays for Jamaica. Because he can't get in.
I don't know. Can he change now? He's played.
He's not played in any he's not actually played a competitive game, has he?
Is it just all
been friendlies, hasn't he?
I thought Nations League, does that count? Who was that against when he played Ireland? I don't know.
I think he can change allegiances.
Right. I don't think he will, personally. I think he'll.
No, I don't. I'm just joking.
too set on it. I've just got one more question before we finish, because obviously time of recording, we've not signed any more players. How many do you think we need to sign before the end of the window, Alex? Start with yourself.
God. 2 fullbacks, another midfielder, possibly, another sort of deeper midfielder, possibly another 10, another winger. I mean, do we need another striker? I think that all hinges on whether Awoniyi goes or not, which I don't. Yeah. There's not been any rumblings about it, but I don't think 6, 7.
Yeah,
I think
it's a lot, isn't it? I mean, Danny, are you in agreement? 6.
I was counting it as he was counting it. To be fair, I think I don't think we need another striker. I think we're absolutely fine in that department, providing that they're all fit and they all look fit. Taiwo looks probably the fittest of the lot at the moment. He looked really sharp. But I think we need two wingers, centre mid, a 10, and a right back and left back, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, if
that Magassa is a deep midfielder. Yeah. Fabrizio is once again on fraud watch.
Mate, honestly, I don't believe a single tweet that comes out of that guy's fingers anymore. I really don't.
Yeah,
I think his impact has zero traction with me anymore.
This is the problem. But this is the problem because he's got such wide. He's got such wide connections and obviously touches a lot of different countries and teams and everything. I think now clubs will use these journalists and agents as smoke screens for actually where they're actually trying to target teams. And it's all a big chess game now.
This has been one of the worst windows I can ever remember for agent play and poor journalism and people probably getting backhanders to put things out. It's been one of the worst. It's probably ruined it for a lot of fans, to be honest with you. I mean, did you see who was it that just randomly bought out Luke de Jong?
Not sure.
Who was it? Porto. Nobody knew anything about the transfer whatsoever. During a pre-season game, they just brought him out onto the pitch and nobody knew about it. And he was just there, signed. It was like amazing.
So
Everyone's like, oh my God,
So
flashback
good.
to 25 years ago here. You know what I mean?
good.
If
I
only
just
we could
remember.
do that.
I just remember, like, if you like try and read in whatever newspaper for whoever signed, do you know what I mean? Like, that's long gone now. You can't sneeze without anyone knowing about it. So, that's a big. It's boring. It is boring a little bit. It ruins the surprise and the mystery behind
100%
it.
it does.
But that's the area we're living in.
This just having a look at this kind of a tangent, but this Magasa, his numbers look good. Obviously, he's playing in the French league, but he's top 3% in tackles, top 4% in interceptions, top 10% in blocks, and top 15% in clearances. So he does the dirty work in midfield by the looks of it, but successful take-ons, he's also in the top 10%. So he's good on the ball as well.
At a good deal as well, because look, we've got Alarena on a free. Turned out to be one of the best free signings, if not the best free signing we've ever made. You got Murillo, obviously, he was an unknown quantity. Like, he was touted to be good. We didn't know if he was going to be 12 million, whatever he was, 10 million. Take a gamble. There's no reason why somebody is what did it say about? Was it 17 million, 13 million? I can't remember what I saw.
13 million euros, but Monaco won 18.
But this is what I'm saying. Like,
doesn't say.
Doesn't say. Okay.
Either way,
I don't think he's that old though.
Yeah, you sign him, he does a job. Like, that's all you want him to do. You want players just to do. You don't need to be a world beater. He needs to be part of a good system and a good squad that can play well together. He doesn't have to come in and be flipping Claude Makelele, does he? Like, he can just come in and do what we need him to do. And if he's got them characteristics and traits, and the recruitment team have identified him as a solid target, and it's not just a rumour mill again. And if we sign him based off the recruitment team's research, we've got to back it. And if they think he's good enough, he's good enough.
Yeah.
Until he comes in as a stinker.
Sometimes I think, because like obviously this Douglas Luiz thing's gone on for ages. I mean, are we kind of looking at other places to either push Juventus to sell him sooner because they go, well, we're not going to get anything for him at this rate, and we want to get rid of him. We're asking for too much, maybe. It's all cat and mouse chess, but I'll go with whatever Pedro Ferreira's doing. I put out a tweet a while ago about his time at Benfica making nearly 800 million euros. I backed the bloke to do our recruitment just fine, to be honest. Like you said, Danny, you listed off a fair few transfers that have already been hits. I mean, Hudson-Odoi for 3 million is still one.
Milenkovic. How much Milenkovic cost?
12, yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Sells for 5. You know,
Anderson
what I mean?
cost what, 15 million in overall after PSR dealings?
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's one of the best centre midfielders in the league, in my opinion.
Just because we've not heard of him as regular people, because we don't watch Ligue 1, we have this automatic doubt about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether he's good or bad, but if our recruitment team is saying to us, he's a target and he's worth spending 18 million euros on, which is 15 million pound or whatever, it's going to say it could potentially save you 25 million pound long run.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
The thing is, as well, we know what market we're shopping in at this point. It's like last season we brought in players that were sort of below par, but they weren't good enough for the ridiculous leap in like stature that we took as a club. It's like Sosa. I'm absolutely sure with regular game time, Sosa would have been fine as sort of a mid-table Premier League winger. Same with Jota. But we've taken almost like an exponential rise over the last sort of 12 to 15 months that these players have sort of fallen by the wayside and automatically not been deemed good enough. So I think it's a completely different market that we're shopping in. And if we're looking at players that start for Monaco, why we're going to turn up a nose at him? But for the price tag, as Danny says, I think it's what 18 million, 15 million quid if we pay what they want.
Yeah.
And for a Premier League club, it's not a huge outlay on a player. And if we sell him in 12 months' time, we've already seen as a club, we'll probably get there or thereabouts that back anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if we can sell Matt Turner, then we can sell this. We need to. But hopefully he's a hit and he surprises a few. Do you know what I mean? Like, that could easily be a scenario, and he fits in with our team like a glove. So
I was listening to your podcast, obviously with Tom Colomossi, is that how I say his name?
Colin Moss, yeah.
Colin Moss. And you were both on about Douglas Luiz and why he was saying specifically why is it only us and Everton interested, and it made me think like he's got a fair point, because he's a good player, and if he's available for 30 to 35, maybe 40 million for that standard of player, why is nobody else sniffing around him? Now, and this whole thing to do with his attitude, we are a certain type of way, the way we have our squad, the way our players are knitted together with the staff, with the team. Everybody is one big family, and you can tell throughout the whole season with all these little videos they do, and it only takes one person to come in that isn't right, no matter how good they are, to upset the apple cart. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be very careful, because if it is touted that his attitude is honking, which we don't know if it is or it isn't, but if it is a realistic thing, you've got to be very careful you're not upsetting the apple cart with it. So maybe there's a reason why we haven't gone. So if he's that good and his attitude's fine, he's going to improve us that much. I personally don't think 40 million euros is that bad a price to spend outright on someone that's going to elevate you to the next level. I've never understood this idea. I know obviously you've got to be careful, but for a player of that quality, if he is that good, that's going to take you to the next level, I don't think that's a big outlay, really, considering where we are at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I just hope we get some wingers in as well. Back was the one I really,
wingers
really
all day
want.
for me right now.
Yeah.
Has to be. Wingers are the most important thing for me now, because
Yeah,
we've got no way of changing the game at the moment if we're behind. If we go behind against Brentford,
we're stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
We're stuck. Yeah, I mean, back were or another left-footed player, because we've just not got any. We've not even got a left back. And that, I mean, it didn't hamper us last season, but you know what I mean. Like normally we've got too many left-footers, and now we've got barely any, especially in attack, and that makes it difficult for like creating angles and shooting opportunities for me. And I from what I've seen of him, he looks very exciting. Someone that will go at a man and yeah. Scary pace as well.
Who's this one about? Sorry, I missed that.
Bakwa.
Yeah,
I think
from Strasbourg.
He looks so good. He looks very get off your seat-ish.
Yeah. Alex?
I think we were looking at that mould in Hutchinson, weren't we? I think that's why a bid flew in for him, left-footed, right winger, homegrown quota. But again, I mean, to be fair, we haven't spoke about him on this pod, but I think 35 million quid is a bit. Anything more than that, we're looking in sort of silly season territory.
Look at what they want for Leif Davis as well, Ipswich.
Yeah,
ridiculous, bordering on ridiculous. No,
well, how much do we pay for Dan Doy? How much do we pay for Dan Doy in total?
35 million euros with 5 on, or 40 million euros with 5 on. I don't remember.
So effectively, up front, they want more for him than what Dan and Doy. Are you taking the proverbials? Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you even justify that when you look at the two players?
Yeah, it's English tax and everything else.
I know it is, but it's just a joke, isn't it?
Absolutely. But no, if you've enjoyed the pod, which I have thoroughly, I don't know about you two, but
loved it.
Drop us a like and a subscribe. Do consider membership to get early access for future pods, and we'll be soon bringing you out more as the week goes on. Some previews for the Brentford game and some more predictions from other guests of this podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time. Come on, you Reds.